Sweet Loudy, it's another Kislev replay. And another Alfredino replay, and another Alfredino on Greenskins replay. So a lot of those going around. Codex with Kislev. Looks like we got some Ice Guard Glaive tech and Skirmish Cav versus the Greenskins Boar Boy Rush. And those Boar Boys are about to have a bad time. Ice Guard with Glaives aren't considered meta, but they are solid against no armor cavalry. I mean, their anti-large melee stats and their non-armor piercing ranged damage both do well into the Savage Orc Boar Boys I saw in Alfred's lineup. So for Kislev, we do have 4 Horse Archers, 2 Kossovite Dervishes to peel a little bit of mass. Then we have triple Ice Guard with Glaives, double regular Kossar, 1 Kossar with Spears, so 6 Archers total. 2 Kislev Halberds on the flanks, 3 Armored Kossar front line. We do have a Mage of Ice with Death Frost and Ice Maiden's Kiss. Yes, Ice Maiden's Kiss. And a Leopard Summon too. On the other side for Alfredino, we have a Vindictive Glare caster up on his Spider with Gorkle Fix It Slow as well. Front line of Goblins and Goblins with Spears. Do have Broken Tusk Mob, Orc Boar Boy Biggins. A lot of those. Then 4 Savage Orc Boar Boys. Then Ruglands Armored Orcs and 2 Savage Orc R Boys. Okay. Spider Shaman is probably here to duel the Frostworm Lord that Kislev can often bring, and just give your Greenskin Lord a lot more HP than you're used to having, because as we saw, Kislev took Death Frost, so with Death Frost and a Frostworm, a lot of Greenskins Lords can get sniped out rather quickly. This can give you just a large HP pool and terror, with also a higher attack angle from which to fire Vindictive Glares, making that spell more effective. So overall, pretty effective Lord. Definitely not what I would call meta, but not trolling or for funning it at all. It's a serious pick, it's just not very common. Kislev getting a lot of early fire in, trying to avoid the melee for as long as possible, though there's not a lot to fear here in melee. Basic Goblins versus Armored Kossars is a pretty easy dub for Kislev. But of course, the Boar Boys will be sandwiching on top. Savage Orc variant, just high weapon strength and melee attack. The Boar Boy Biggins more concerned about finding large targets, but since Kislev brought very few large targets at all, they're just going to have to be shock cavalry as best they can. Boar Boys in general are quite terrible at killing infantry, however, so I'm sure Alfred isn't happy about this. Gets a good charge on the Ice Guard with Glaives. So far, that charge is going well for them, and a Wah is going to make sure it goes even better. But the Ice Guard will stand firm, especially as the charge bonus wears off, and then when the Wah wears off, all of a sudden this will go in the Ice Guard's favor. But 2 Archers firing in on top of them is pretty rough. Unshielded, only 50 armor, no missile resistance. Those Ice Guard are going to have a pretty bad time. So are the Savage Orcs, though, as all the other Archers turn towards them. We still have 2 Ice Guard that are chilling. I'm having such a hard time finding the other Ice Guard. There they are. 1 Ice Guard's literally full HP. One's half, one's dead. It's a decent so far. Frontline fight is a giant mess. As we can see, Boar Boys and Goblins have just slammed into the Kislevites. Overall, the Kislevites are winning the frontline fight. Overall. There's a couple places where the Greenskins are breaking through, and the Goblin Great Chain is just providing that terror, but against a faction with By Our Blood, terror isn't as important in the early game. It's more of the late game where you can just keep terror outing them. Those consistent Vindictive Glares, though, on the Ice Witch are starting to add up. She is almost toast. So while the Greenskins have suffered a lot of attrition damage, and I mean a lot of attrition damage on their front line, they still have 3 healthy Archers, they have a very healthy Spider Lord, and then everything else is pretty ragged. For Kislev, still have 1 Ice Guard that's fairly healthy. The other 2 feeling the pain, feeling the pressure, but they'll come back stronger than ever before, like the Sand People of old. That's not true. They're not going to come back stronger. They'll come back, but just as weak and ragged ass as they were when they left. This is really bad for Alfredino. Goblin Great Shaman is stuck in front of 2 different Archers, and it doesn't have that much missile resistance. It's just too big. Like, it has 15% missile resistance. It has 120 armor, but I feel like that just doesn't matter when you're on the Spider. You still take an ass ton of damage from regular Archers. Kossar's firing in. Goblin Great Shaman's down to 4,000 HP. The Kislevite front line is holding, and even better than holding, they're winning. So they're starting to turn around. Now these Kossars are going to start using their pistols on the Spider. You can see all the red arrows coming in from several different directions to deal with that Goblin Great Shaman and get rid of it. Meanwhile, the Ice Witch has run out of By Our Blood. She is now naturally routing, and I don't know if she's going to rally. Flank secure, but damage sustained is currently at 80. She's not that near to the edge of the map. Maybe allies nearby will rally her. Doesn't look like it. So she might rally if that damage sustained comes down. Meanwhile, the Goblin Great Shaman does get routed off. Still 2,000 HP on him. Bounce power is 50-50. As Ruglands Armored Orcs and Savage Orc Aura Boys start getting close to melee. As the Kislevites Warriors are losing to the Ruglands Armored Boys. Obviously, that wasn't a full HP versus full HP fight. Full HP, Kislevites Warriors would probably do better, but Ruglands just trying to clean them up. Though with more armored Kossars piling in and Kossite Dervishes, this is actually looking like a pretty rough time to be using the Regiment of Renown in melee. Goblin Great Shaman has plenty of HP. He will rally. And the same cannot be said of the Ice Witch. She is going off the map. Kislev lost their lord. Blood's going to start proccing across the map, or just naturally routing. As the Kisevite leadership starts to fail, Goblin Great Shaman rallies, but he rallies in front of Pistol Kossars, and he needs to scuttle his way further away. But there's more armored Kossars, and he can't get out of the way of those, so he gets his second out of 3 routes. Might turn into a shatter, might just die as the pistols continue to fire at him. So the real strength of the greenskins that's left are these 2 Orc Archers, the Ruglands Armored Orc and the Savage Orc Aura Boys. Actually, there's still a third one that's also very healthy. So 3 healthy Orc Archers versus Kislev. Kislev has a couple Kossars here and there, a couple armored Kossars here and there. All 3 of their Ice Guard with glaives have suffered extreme damage at this point. So they're kind of a non-factor. Goblin Great Shaman, I don't know if he rallies. It looks like he's not going to die. 400 HP is plenty, but I don't think he rallies either. He is on a big terror-causing mount, but he only has a base leadership of 65, so that's pretty bad when you've taken this much damage. We'll see if he feels like coming back. Meanwhile, these sneaky Kossars are just going to get some pistol shots on the Savage Orc Aura Boys right in the back. How dare they? But it's come down to an archer fight. We just have Kossars, pistol guys versus Savage Orcs. Kind of crazy. Armored Kossars fighting in melee with Ruglands Armored Orcs. Go, Ruglands, go. Smash those gits. Crump 'em right in the jaw. This is Sean Connery in Warhammer for some reason. Armored Kossars sneaking up on the Savage Orcs, trying to distract them, but it looks like they have guard mode on because they don't give a shit. Look at them trying to shoot, and they've given up on shooting. They're running away. Cowards. Cowards, I say. Yarwar Night Goblins, unbreakable, going to be used to chase off some archers. Meanwhile, other goblins have shattered. Armored Kossars all around. Doing really good in the late game. High armor, silver shields, decent melee stats as they just run down all these other greenskins. These Armored Kossars are the same speed as Ruglands. Okay, that's fine. If they were slower and they were falling behind, I'd suggest switching their pistol shots and just shooting these guys in the back while they run. But since you're actually catching up, I guess it's fine. Looks like they might be doing that anyway. No, they just stopped for no reason. Okay. They get a charge onto Ruglands Armored Orcs, drag them back into melee combat. And with both of them having similar HP, I would expect the Armored Kossars to win that fight at this point. Balance power does shift into Kislev's favor. Greenskins almost captured the point, but no one actually captured it at any juncture. And yeah, the Savage Orc Aura Boys are getting routed off. It's looking doomed. It's all down to Ruglands. They're really the only thing left here for the greenskins. And you have some unbreakable goblins, but there's literally 3 of them. 2, 1. Anything else rallying for the greenies? Not really. No Boar Boys to come back. Goblin Great Shaman did not come back. Ruglands actually do rout the Armored Kossar. Still have a healthy Armored Kossar over there, but with no ammo and far distance from the target. Ruglands can't clutch this out, right? We have some regular Kossars coming back. Savage Orcs Aura Boys do get orders to attack them nice and quickly. The Kossars return fire, though. And those Savage Orcs were reforming in a really stupid way. Like, it wasn't the player's fault, but they just kind of like walked into range without reforming and shooting. They had attack orders the whole time. They're just like, nah. So now the Kislevites may be getting fed into a blender. Alfredino kiting out with the Ruglands Armored Orcs, just waiting out by our blood before he's probably going to turn and try and get one more shot on these guys to break them on the charge. Bounce power is getting a little better for the greenskins. So these goblins are going to rout. If they get too close to the routing Savage Orcs, they might be like, friends routing nearby, run! All right, Buyer Blood wore off. Ruglands turn and charge. They're actually just going to charge them in melee. They're just trying to shock that leadership out while the Savage Orcs return to the fight. But again, they shatter and they take the goblins with them. So yeah, Ruglands are really alone in this battle. Everybody else is just failing them. They got rid of the armored Kossars. If their leadership can hold, they can easily chain route these Ice Guard and stuff. I mean, that Ice Guard only has 800 HP. Their leadership's fine. They only have 800 HP. The other ones are ready to route at the drop of a hat. Gizvite Warrior's going to route as soon as they come into contact with their own routing armored Kossars. There they go. Ice Guard are routing. So Rugland's doing good so far. They routed. They've even shattered some stuff. Their buddies are also shattering. 53 armor versus 50 armor. Bronze shield versus no shield. They're dueling with the Ice Guard. Holy shit! Ruglands is doing it! How much value have you guys gotten? Only 1,100, but still hype as fuck. They got rid of him! They got rid of the Ice Guard! Let's go! Alright, that armored Kossar with 2,400 HP is the biggest threat to the Ruglands, but Ruglands are going to try and get rid of these regular Kossars. And luckily for them, these Gizvite Warriors came back only to route against. They're going to shatter, but they're also going to give a leadership debuff to their friends. Friends routing -9 as they're getting shot by the armored Orcs. Because the armored Orcs don't have that leadership debuff. Yeah, they don't have any friends nearby to route them or anything. So the Kossars getting shot down to 1,100 HP as Rugland's armored Orcs are falling back. I don't know why they're bothering to fall back. Oh, they have a longer range. It looks like they were maybe trying to get out of range, but then he turned and... he dodged. Okay, he dodged a really good volley there. 1 leadership for these Kossars. That volley should take them out, but it's just how much can the Ruglands dodge this incoming volley. Pretty good dodge. They only took like 30 damage from it. All right, everybody's routing except for that armored Kossar. We even got a Goblin back. Oh, buddy. Ruglands, plenty of ammunition. They're willing to just piss it away on those Kossars to make sure they keep routing. Meanwhile, I think these Ice Guard and armored Kossars might be in a bit of a death loop because they have friends routing, so each of them is making sure the other keeps routing, which is really bad. Rugland's going to try and turn, and then, like we said, they have 20 more range. They are able to stand and fire before the Kossars even get in range, but now Codex and the Kislevites are trying to dodge this time. Take a little bit of damage. It's under missile fire. Enough. No, it's not enough leadership debuff. The Kossars are still in it. Rugland's fire again. Kossars aren't going to dodge this time. They're trying to get in range just to return fire once. Their leadership dips to -23, and they shatter. And one of the Ice Guard went off the map. Alfred's probably got to rest these goblins. He's got to rest them. The melee Kossars have to come to you. There's no reason the goblins need to run. I mean, he's walking them so they don't lose more stuff, but I feel like they should just be standing still. Because Ruglands can fire and kite and fire and kite and get behind them. So he can bring the armored Kossars to them. Ice Guard going off the map. Other armored Kossars going off the map. Balance of power goes into the Greenskins' favor. As these brave Kossars, 72 armor, silver shields, have to sprint into the withering fire of the Ruglands. It's not going to do that much damage, but we're so late in the game, so low on HP that all damage is important damage. And of course, leadership's playing a big factor. Under missile fire, -5. Losing currently -8, which once they get into melee, that losing currently is going to go into either even or winning. But do they even get there? They're going to get the charging leadership buff for sure. But if the goblins hit them on the flank, oh no, it's a lose-lose. They need to turn and fight the goblins so they don't get charged in the rear for free, but that turns their silver shields aside, so they're getting that missile fire right in the back, and they're getting flank leadership debuffs. Flanks exposed, but they get so low. 0 leadership on the Kossars! 0! But they hold. 0 is apparently positive, and now they get 15 as they're charging. Charging leadership buff is huge. They run into the Ruglands Armored Orc. The goblins have shattered. These are the last 2 units on the map, and we're into just a fist fight at this point. Can the elite Kossars of Kislev beat the Ruglands Armored Orcs, or will these Orcs hold long enough? The Kossars should win the melee fight here if it's a fight to the death, but leadership-wise, the Orcs are way better off. Both sides are quite exhausted, but the Regiment of Renown leadership is higher than the Kossars' base, but the Ruglands just start losing too much. They entered this fight at almost even HP, and now they're at a 300 deficit. So yeah, the Kossars' leadership held long enough to actually let their melee stats shine through, and then they whooped those Orcs' ass. Damn. I mean, there was a point in the game where if I paused it, it was looking like army losses and Kislev was going to win, and then the end result is Kislev wins, but it got a lot closer. It got a lot closer than you'd think it would. That Regiment of Renown just put this whole game on their back. The Night Goblins also did pretty well. Savage Orc Arboys did pretty well. The pigs struggled. They didn't have a lot of what they wanted to fight on the map, but it is what it is. Ice Guard, they did all right. They did all right. Nothing too fancy. One of them got really good value, but the other two underperformed, so if you average them, it's fine. Armored Cossars were the real heroes there. They did super great. I kind of lost track of what the Horse Archers were up to. GG's, lads. GG's. Roar. Subscribe. Yes, yes.